So hello guys, welcome to Java JSM, and in this video we are going to talk about Java 5 features. It's a very important features. Okay, so let's start now. So Java 5 features, also known as Java 1.8, or you can say that so many people are confused to saying. So you can say like Java 5 also, you can say Java 1.5 also, you can told also J2 AC 5.0 was a major release of the Java programming. So this is the three things you can say, no problems. Okay, language and platform. So this is the one of the major release for the Java programming platforms. It was released by the Sun Microsystem. So Sun Microsystem is one of the company, and it's released now on by the Oracle corporations in the September 2004. Okay, so Java 5 introduced several significant features and enhancement to the language, including generics. So whatever the generics we have seen while doing a code with the collections, so you can see like that we are giving greater than less than symbols, and we are giving the type safe of the our collection. So those is called generics. Okay, also we can say like we can see one question marks and in the this covering brackets, so that is called a generics. Enhanced for loop. So enhanced for loop, you already know, like we are using for the array and collections to iterate those element. So we are using the enhanced for loop, that is also very important. What is the autoboxing and unboxing? So autoboxing and unboxing we are discussing about in the wrapper classes. While discussing wrapper classes, we have already covered. Enumerations I have already covered in the collections. So like in the collections, whatever the legacy classes we have, like a vector and hash table. So for that we are using the enumeration to iterate those particular collections. Where args I have already explained, like in the particular method, so we are giving the method declaration 3 dot, and those 3 dot we can pass maybe the 1 element, 2 element, 3 element, 5 element, and as many element you want to pass, you can pass. It will look like a array only. Okay, so like basically whatever we are doing with the overloading, and in the overloading we are writing a multiple method with the different parameters. But Java 1.5 onwards, we don't want to write multiple method for the overloading. You can write one where args methods, and this method will take any type of the parameters. Okay, so that is called the where args. We know the annotation. So annotation means like whatever the @ override, @ deprecated, those already annotations we have seen. So those are called annotations. And concurrency utility. So concurrency utility is also on the features like in the collections. So you can see in the collection is like collections utils. Okay, so collections utils or collections, we have a class in the util package. Those provided lots of the methods, so we can use those method and we can sort our collections. So those whatever the things we have mentioned here, those is the features in Java 5. Okay, those are the features. If you want to learn about in the depth, you can go through that slide and we can understood what is the exactly they are saying. Okay, so what is the generics? So generics in the Java provides a way to create a classes, interface and method that can work with the different types of the data while maintaining a type safe, that allow you want to parameterize types and write a reusable code that can operate, okay, and verify that data types without sacrificing types checking in the compile time. So the main benefits of using a generic type in Java are the type safe. So what is the type safe? Type safe means whatever we are passing inside the, we are clicking, let me do that. Okay, so for example, I have a one class called test here, right? Inside the test, I'm going to write one collections. For example, I have written list. Okay, control, and this is nothing but generics. Whatever the E you are able to see here, that is called generic. So you can give here integer. Okay, so after that, if you give the integer and if you create any of the implemented class object for that, so this particular array list is only and only store the integer type of the data. If you store any integer value, it will store successfully. Okay, but if you try to store apart from any value, for example double, it will not store and it will give the error. That is called type safe. It will only store the value. It is called integer type. That is called a type safe. Understood? Yeah, maybe you understood. Okay, so this is called a type safe. The main benefits of the generics in Java. Reusability. Reusability means like whatever the already we have a methods, we can reuse it. Okay, we can discuss those things also. Compile time checking, code clarity and reusability. So if you go here, you can see what is the type safe. So generic ensure that the compiler enforce type checking, preventing type related errors at a runtime. What generic, you can specify a type that class method can operate on, and compiler will verify that the usage of the type is consistent through the out of the code. so it will not store any other type of the data, it will check at the compile time only. Okay, that is called a type set. What is the reusability? Reusability means by using a generics, you can create a classes, interface, method that can be reused with the different type of the data. This promotes code reuse, the eliminates the need for the duplicating similar code of the different types. So this is called reusability. Compile time checking, it means it will give the error at the compile time only. The type checking provides by the generic occurs at compile time. So as of before we have seen, while storing a double, it will not support, it will be giving the error. That is called type checking. Code clarity and reusability, and if you specify, okay, this is only capable to store the integer value, okay, so we are specifying here, okay, this will only store the integer value, so through that we can specify it, okay, it's a clear code, we can say code clarity and readability. So it will increase the code clarity and readability also. So that is called a generics. The generics methods of the use we have, like we can use the generic method also. So a generic method is a method that declares its own type parameters. It allows you to parameterize a method with the more type parameters independent of the class's type parameter. By using the generic method, you can create a method that work with the different type and provide a flexibility to the caller. Here is the example. So if you want to provide something called generic method, so we are writing here public and t. So what is the meaning of t? So t means whatever the type you set, that will support. That is not a fixed type. Okay, so that is the generic, you can say. And get first element and list of the t. So here you can you can reuse it, and sometimes you can send here integer of the list, you can sometimes send, you can float of the list, double of the list, boolean of the list. It will support because this is the list of t. T means generic, it will represent generic, so any type of the data you can send here. Okay, and if list dot is empty, it will return null, otherwise it will get the data of the 0 and it will print it. Okay, so this is the things, guys, we have to understand and how it will work. Okay, if you want to do some of the coding for it, you can do, no issue. So let me create one method for public and publics, and I will give the type safe also. So I will write t, okay, get data, and this is the method we have, and return something called 9 I have given, and here after the generic you can represent t. This is the type safe. Okay, and this is the type safe we have not set it yet. Okay, so here you can return null as of now. Okay, and here we have to send the collections only, it will support the collections object only. And in the list also we are going to take some of the list, and we are making this list as a generics. So this is the something called list data, and what we are going to do here is we are going to take this list and list dot get of 0 index element we can take, and we can return and we can print it. Okay, so this is the list we have, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more list. So this is the integer list. I'm going to create one more list called and before going to create a list, list 1 I will give here, and this is also list 1, and this method I will call first. So I will write a get data. So this is, we are unable to call this method, so make it a statics first. So public statics, and here I will call dot get data, and I will pass my list, and once I pass this list it will return one value. So what I'm going to do is I will put this inside the sout so that it will print also those value also. Okay, this is the things. Okay, guys, so here I have passed the integer value and it's supported. Now I am going to pass here boolean, and here I will add something called true, and same thing I will print it. Okay, same thing I will print, no issue in that. Okay, so before going to print I have to call the method also. So those method call will happen here, and I will pass here list 1 simply. Okay, so if you see, I am able to call this particular method get data passing a list 1 which is accepting the boolean. I am able to pass the get data list which is accepting the integer value. Both it is going to support. Okay, let me run this code so that you can understood in the better way, and you can see the output 10 and true. So this is called the reusability methods. That is the power. Okay, that is the power. It will take any type of the data which is list, maybe the boolean, float, double character, anything, and it will return those things automatically. It will do the operation and it will return it also. Okay, so that is the power. Okay, if you don't want to return type, you can remove it. no issue, no issue, you can remove it. Okay, you can just take the data here and you have to write here void. Okay, so it will take the generic. So generic will not supporting here as of now, so we have to write here T, because the return type also same. Okay, so this is the things you have to understand, and how we are writing a code for the reusability, that you have to understand. Okay, so this is the generic you understood as of now. Okay, this is called a generic type safe. This is the type safe. Let me go and understand what is the collections and utility method of use. So collection utility is nothing but like you already know, like in the collections having a one collections class, which is a utility class. It came into the Java 5, and while using those collections methods, collection classes utility methods, like we can create a collection 1, collection 2, and we can easily add list dot add all, and we can pass here list 2 and type safe addition of the elements, we can do it. So this is the some methods it will come up with the utility collections. So we can discuss, we have already discussed, but we can discuss later if it is required. Okay, and this is the method comparable and comparator. So you already know, and we have already discussed, like while sorting a collections object, we are using the comparable and comparator interface. Okay, so this is also very important. So comparable and comparator interface is a generic commonly used to the method that work with the comparable and comparator interface. This interface provide the way to define a natural custom ordering objects. Ordering means sorting. So for example, we can see here comparable, so we can provide here generic also, and T of T, and we can do the operations with that. Understand? Okay, so this is also very important thing. So they also come in the Java 5 features. Method stream, so whatever you are able to see, like areas dot as list, and stream methods like number dot streams, map collection, those also came, like map, filter, reduce. Those examples will we are able to see. So those also came in the 5 also, but there is now provided the more flexibility on that. They are not enhancing those that, and they are not giving the lots of the method inside that. But in Java 1.8 onwards, he given lots of the things. Okay, let's go and learn about like what is the enhanced for loop. So what is the basically enhanced for loop? So we already know like how we are iterating the collections with the enhanced for loop. It's a very simple. So let me explain the syntax of the enhanced for loop. So for example, we have some of the collections. Okay, for example, let me remove those things. Okay, and this is the list we have, and let me add some more element in that. So for example, I want to add here 20, and here I have to add 30, and I have to iterate this loop. So I have a way for the enhanced for loop. So we can write for, and after for we can see here what list we have to iterate. So inside the list having an integer value, so we can write here integer. So we can create one variable of the integer. Let's take the example of I, and don't forget to give the colon, and then after whatever the list you have to iterate, we have to write the list here. That's it. So this is the syntax of the enhanced for loop, which separated with the comma. So what will happen is, this is the list. From the list it will take one element and it will store inside the I, and you can do the operations. Again in the second iterations it will take another elements from the list and it will store inside the I, and then it will iterate for that. Again it will go and it will take list of the third element, and like that it will do the operations. So inside this, if you write s out, and simply you can write I, so I already available each and every element, so it will print all those element like 10, 20, 30. So one by one it will take the element and it will iterate the loop. So that is called a enhanced for loop. I hope you understood, guys. Okay, let's go and discuss about syntax of the enhanced for loop. So this is the syntax. You have to give the colon. Okay, and we are able to iterate here with the help of the color. Okay, we can iterate the like any of the iterables. You can iterate any of the array also. We can iterate any of the array list also. Okay, so this is the 3 examples you can see, and we can do the operations on that. So pause the video and try to do the operations. What is the autoboxing and unboxing? So autoboxing means like converting a int value to the object, and converting a wrapper classes into the primitive type. That is the data which is called a autoboxing and unboxing. So it's also added into the Java 5, that's provide automatic conversion between the primitive types into the corresponding wrapper classes. Okay, so guys, we have already discussed about this in the depth in the our upcoming lectures. We have already discussed, not upcoming lectures. Okay, so we don't want to discuss it. Okay, so we understood what is the autoboxing and unboxing. This is also features came inside the Java 1.5. So this is the autoboxing, converting a like primitive data types into the integers. This is the unboxing, like converting an integer data type into the primitive data types, that is called unboxing. Unboxing and autoboxing, directions of the conversions. Okay, So what is the purpose, what is the uses, you can go through that and we can understood in the depth. Okay, but just if there is not required and they will not ask definitely in the Java 5 features. Right now the peoples are only asking the Java 1.8 features, but for the awareness purpose I have explained. What is the enumerations in the Java? So enumerations we have already discussed while doing your work with the collections. Okay, so no need to explain it. This is the something type shape, readability, maintenance we already know. Var args we already know what is the var args and how it's doing the work. So simply we are creating one method and we are giving the 3 dot. So this method is able to accept the whatever the parameters you have sent. Okay, that is called var args. 3 dot, you have to remember it. And you can, I have already discussed coding with that also, so you can go and check out those particular videos and you can understood what is the var args. Okay, this is the example. Annotations. So annotations you already know in the very depth how we are creating the annotations. This is the annotations like override, deprecated, suppress, warning and functional interface. Those are the predefined annotations we have. We can create our own annotations also. So here is the example of the custom annotations. So if you want to create your own annotations, you can write simply, you can create one interface and we can annotate at the rate interface and my annotations, and we can write some of the default value whatever you want. If you don't want to write, you can don't write it, and you can give some annotations which is the inbuilt and predefined we have, like retention, target, and we can specify like when it will occur at a runtime and what where we can use it. So element type, so where we can use this target, so we can use it in up the top of the methods. If you want to use the class, you can give the class or variables, whatever. So like that we can create our own custom annotations also. That is also possible. So in this example, my annotations is a custom annotations with 2 elements like value and count. The retention annotations specify that the annotations will be retain at runtime, and target annotation restrict the annotation to be used only on the method. So if you give your method, so you can use this annotation on the top of the method only. You can't use these annotations in any others like variables or class. Okay, so that is the things we have to understand. Concurrency utility we have already discussed. It's introduced Java 5, and concurrency utility means like we have a one package called java.utils. Okay, in this package simplify the concurrent programming, the executor framework, concurrent hash map, blocking queue and other classes provided better support for the writing concurrent and multi-thread applications. So that is we have not discussed as of now, but definitely if I get a time I will explain those things like how we can deal with the executor, concurrent hash map and blocking queue. Okay, here are the some of the key concurrency, and those classes we are discussing in the multi-thread only. So multi-thread is completed, but we can discuss it, no issue. And executor frameworks, it's a very important while doing operations in the multi-thread. So this is something like executor frameworks we can understood and we can discuss about it. Okay, and this is the concurrent collections we can discuss. So java.util.concurrent package includes several concurrent classes such as a concurrent hash map, concurrent link queue and concurrent escape list. So there is so many things inside this, so we can create some of the dedicated video for that and we can discuss it. Okay, lock and conditions, that is also very important. Okay, compatible features we can discuss. It's introduced in the Java 8, but no need to discuss here. So this is the things guys we have to understand in the Java 8, but for the interview preparations we have to understand only 7 things like what are the features it came into the Java 5, which is generic, erase, for loop, autoboxing, unboxing, enumerations, var arg, annotations and concurrency utility. That is the very important things. Okay, thank you so much.